7:30. Everybody rise. I'll call to order tonight the regular meeting of the Village Council, April 21st, 2025. Please rise for pledge of allegiance. Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
President Dyke.
Present.
President Pro Tem Steffler. Councilmember Feldman. Councilmember Glasser.
Present.
Councilmember Miller.
Present.
Councilmember Powell.
Present.
Councilmember Schneider.
Present.
Before the approval of the agenda, just to note, President Pro Tem Steffler mentioned last meeting in comments that she will not be here tonight. Councilmember Feldman contacted me this week. He is out of town on business and will not be in attendance tonight. Manager Kerberson got caught in traffic. He should be here shortly. Approval of the agenda. It's come to my attention that agenda item number 4 is to be removed. It's been canceled, so strike agenda item number 4. I'd like to move agenda item number 1, the employee handbook discussion, to the bottom until to allow time for Mr. Kerberson to get here. Do we have any other additions, deletions, or suggestions for tonight's agenda? Moving forward, communications, the EMS report. It's Lapeer County's monthly report on the EMS. Moving on to consent agenda, regular meeting minutes for the March 18th meeting.
I've got a few corrections, just a
Okay.
few. Let's see, under regular agenda item number 1, under roll call, can we strike Mr. Glasser? Because ironically, if you look at the very top of the next page, it says absent Glasser, but somehow he also voted. So, do you see where I'm at, Kim?
No, I don't.
Okay, so under regular agenda, item number 1,
Oh, I'm in
resolution.
Communications, sorry.
That's okay.
Yes, we'll put him on absent.
Yeah, he is absent. We got him listed both.
We
Yes.
marked him twice.
Okay. So, and then bottom of that same page, page 8 of the agenda, under item number 3, council manager comment. You've got Manager Kerberson reported of the shore erosion. I think on the shore erosion was what you meant. And then the third one is on page 9 of the agenda packet, 4th paragraph, starting with Councilmember Schneider. So it'd be 4 lines down, and have requested the north side to have instead of has a thicker base. And that's it. That's the only corrections I have.
Anybody else on meeting minutes from March 18th meeting? Being none. General fund. Major street fund. Local street fund. Downtown Development Authority fund. Capital project fund. Sewer fund. Water fund. Equipment fund. Payroll register report. Comments or questions on those? Being none, I will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
So moved.
Motion made by Councilmember Schneider, seconded by Councilmember Glasser to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes with all council members present. Now is the time for public comment for any item on our regular agenda. Is there any public comment tonight for any agenda item? Being none, we will move on to the regular agenda. Agenda item number 1, which shows on your sheet as agenda item number 2, is the DDA board reappointment. So, at the regular DDA board meeting of March 26th, the DDA board, motion recommended that I appoint Ms. Holly Miller to reappoint Ms. Holly Miller to the DDA board of directors as, filling her own seat, which was set to expire March 31st, 2025. Her new term will start March 31st, 2025, ending March 31st, 2029. Taking the recommendation of the DDA director and also taking into account my interactions with Ms. Miller during my time on the DDA and the subcommittee, I am going to ask for council's ratification and the reappointment of Ms. Holly Miller to the DDA board.
So moved.
So that's his reappointment. Now we got to make a motion to ratify that appointment.
Make a motion to ratify that appointment.
Support?
Thank you, Steve.
You're welcome.
Motion by Councilmember Miller, supported by Councilmember Schneider to ratify my appointment of Ms. Holly Miller to the DDA board with a term ending March 31st, 2029. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Since I'm appointing, I abstain. On March 24th, Ms. Krista Booth sent the attached email that you guys have in your packet to the DDA director and DDA chairperson resigning from the DDA board. Mrs. Booth's term was due to expire on March 31st, 2026. The DDA board at their last meeting accepted her resignation from the meeting. I want to say that Krista served in many capacities on the DDA. The only reason she's leaving is for personal reasons, and has extended out that she will still continue to volunteer and keep open to serve on the board at a future time at a future time. So I'm going to accept the resignation and ask for council's ratification of the acceptance of that resignation.
Motion to accept Krista Booth's resignation for the DDA.
Support?
Motion by Councilmember Glasser, supported by Councilmember Schneider, to approve the DDA board resignation of Krista Booth. Before the vote, I just want to thank Krista for her time served. It is appreciated and she will be missed. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. And I abstain since I am the one doing the,
Do we need a separate motion to advertise for the posting?
yes.
I'll make the motion to allow the DDA executive director to advertise for one DDA board position that would expire March 31st, 2026.
Support?
Motion by Councilmember Powell, supported by Councilmember Schneider, to allow the DDA director to advertise for one DDA position with the expiration date of March 31st, 2026. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. The motion passes. That brings us, welcome to the meeting, Mr. Kerberson.
Thank you.
We moved the handbook discussion down, so you would be present.
Okay.
So agenda item number 3 are updates to the employee handbook, and I'll hand that over to you.
Well, actually, Kim oversaw all the work related to this, the interaction with the city attorney, personnel attorney on these documents. I know there's a concern over the pending social media policy that we are having reviewed currently by the city attorney. So in the meantime, this handbook is out there. It is perfectly acceptable for the council to table it if you want to wait for the social media policy to be in hand, or if you want to move forward with it now, and then we can amend it and add the social media policy down the road.
The question I had, and I was talking to Mr. Feldman tonight, prior to the meeting, that he had was, my understanding is since we posted it, the changes are in effect and okay with the state. Is there a time frame before we need to accept the handbook changes, formally, or because the social media policy is probably, I would prefer to wait and table it because I don't want to accept a social media policy in the handbook that we don't necessarily agree with at this point.
So to answer that question, I think you have at least a year to get it in
Okay.
formally, the state regulation, but at the same time, if we table it, we have up to 3 meetings to put it back on the agenda.
Correct.
So we'll definitely have the social media policy in the term of tabling something.
One would hope. It is realistically possible that we wouldn't. One would certainly hope. Social media policy being reviewed by the attorneys, let's say that they have very minor, non-substantial revisions or modifications to it, because they've already indicated they have some modifications that they're intending to make. If they were substantial, then what was agreed was it would go back to the joint subcommittee. And then if the joint subcommittee has any issues with it, then back to council where it's in open discussion and we cannot vote on it, so we couldn't do the handbook. And then the following meeting, if it was approved by council at open discussion, then back as an agenda item. But what I'm saying is there is a hypothetical scenario where it would not make it back within 3 village council meetings. Assuming that there's no substantial issues, then the very next meeting, social media policy is open discussion, and the following one, it's on an agenda item. That would be within our 3 meetings, and we'd be fine.
Yep.
It could be fine. We could have to pass the handbook with the existing social media policy.
And then amend. Okay.
I would prefer to do both at the same time, but
I would too. So I would suggest tabling tonight. Did council have any comments or questions on the changes at this point? Okay, it would be my recommendation, but we need a consensus to table this until the social media policy is updated and ready to be input into this. And that is getting close, but as Stephen mentioned, the schedule's still a little, could have a hiccup in it depending on the legal changes.
and I only have one request. Would that be that the social media policy be its own agenda item, separate and apart from the handbook? Obviously, if we've approved the social media policy,
It gets input, yes.
yes, so we can
I
approve the
would
handbook
agree.
at large. If the social media policy does not,
When we set that agenda, it'll be a separate item on
The
the open
agenda.
discussion.
right, and should the social media policy not be approved for any reason, we can still keep the handbook on there for necessity of keeping it within the 3, pass it, and we'll have to amend it when we fix the social media policy if that's the way it would go.
Is council in consensus with doing that? Okay.
Sounds good.
So that concludes our regular agenda for tonight. So is there any public comment for any items, any non-agenda items?
My name is Kim Shaw. I'm an Almont Township resident. As President Dyke knows, I attended the DDA meeting last month. I wasn't able to attend the one prior to that because I was out of town, but they had looked into and purchased new banners for the downtown. As the previous director, my board ordered banners, and we spent $10,000 on new banners that are beautiful. I've only yet to see 2 of them up for a short period of time, and that was right after I left my position. So my question is, I know that the council oversees the DDA budget. I think that I would hope that when their budget comes up this time, that you look at it more thoroughly and closely, because the banners that were ordered by Consort, which is a very good company that we've always used. The banners that are there now, you can't see them. They look like they've been drawn with crayons. They're light, they're not vibrant. They don't do anything for our downtown. And I think having spent $10,000 on banners, it would be really nice to see them up. And right now, there should be, I think it's blue, and it has maybe a robin and a cardinal on it. That is your spring one. Your summer one has sunflowers on it. The fall one has beautiful fall leaves on it, and the winter one has mittens on it. And they're the same size that are out there. So it's just kind of disappointing that a new board comes in and they just go and order banners. So I would just really like the council to look at their budget, and not only for banners, but there's a number of other things as well that I think should be thoroughly looked into when you guys look at their budget and how they spend the money. That's all I'm asking, because it's like, if they order those a year, it'd be $6,800. And whether they use them each year, I can't say one way or another, because I haven't really paid that close attention last year. But I would just like you to look at, it was dear to my heart, my position. And I care for the downtown. I live in the township, and I want the best for the downtown as well. And I want us to be known and people to see us. But what you have out there now is not, you can't see it. So that's the only thing I'd like to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else for public comment tonight on non-agenda items? That being said, we will now move to council member manager comment before going into closed session. Mr. Culberson, do you have anything to bring council?
Yep, just a few things to touch base on. I mentioned before that we're trying to extend the work, get the most bang for our buck on sidewalk work. It was the number one priority of our community involvement efforts. So we had a company in this week. We're working on a cost to cut all of our uneven spots. The company did a survey this week, and their conclusion is we have 139,000 lineal feet of sidewalk, and they will give us a proposal to do quadrants and the whole city village at one time. So we're in the process of doing that. The company has worked here before, so the village is familiar with them, but that is underway. I can't say what the cost is going to be, but their estimate was about double what I thought it would cost. So we'll see. Like I said, they did a detailed survey of the village this last week, and they're working on a final document for us. So you'll be seeing that. We did the wastewater treatment plant walkthrough this week with potential bidders. We know there were at least 3 companies, maybe 4 companies that did the walkthrough. The contractors or the people walking through said it went very well. They appreciated Clinton's efforts. It lasted at least 2.5 hours. And then Clinton came and told me that it went very well, and he was happy with how it went as well. So we'll see how that moves forward. But I wanted you to know that is moving on. And then we did take bids, requests for proposals on cleaning of the buildings. It looks like we'll be saving some money this year with the proposals that we got. So been busy in the office. And Kim and I, well, really Kim is working on the budget, and we're getting these numbers together so we can come up with some detailed proposal for the council. And then we have to work on, I'm going to be sending you guys a list of potential dates because you wanted to go through the budget in sections in advance of the actual budget hearings. So we'll pick some dates where we can do that. And I'll get a consensus from you in the next week so we know when those dates can be. And that's it. And of course, any questions, I'm here. Sorry for being late.
Ms. Keither?
Sir.
Councilmember Glasser?
Sir, Dale answered mine.
Was that?
Dale answered mine.
Councilmember Schneider?
Not at this time.
Councilmember Powell?
All set.
Councilmember Miller?
Good evening. Yes, this last week, first of all, I'd like to apologize for not being at the last meeting. It was unavoidable. My wife's health issues. Aside from that, I finally was able to get with Clinton and do a tour of the package plant, wastewater treatment plant. Clinton with Merle's help also. It was quite extensive, quite informative, and I appreciate it. And I'm taking the time to do that. I also recommended that they do a presentation before council and also before planning commission of the wastewater treatment plant and its workings. And even people who are from pretty much familiar with it could be reminded of different things and how it all works. And I think it would be beneficial for all of us. That's it. Thank you.
We are now going to go into closed session to discuss the purchase of property. Do we have a motion to do that? What's that?
Yep, I'm getting there.
Did you approve the amendment? Oh, what?
I'll make the motion.
Go ahead, thanks.
To enter into closed session in accordance with Section 8D of the Michigan Open
That's
Meetings Act, being Public Act 267 of 1976, to consider the purchase of real estate property.
Support.
We have a motion by Councilmember Glasser, supported by Councilmember Schneider, to move into closed session per Mr. Glasser's motion. Roll call.
Glasser? Miller? Powell?
Aye.
Schneider?
Aye.
Dyke?
Aye. That will conclude our public meeting for tonight. Thank you for attending, and we appreciate your attendance.
Dale, I know you were looking confused. We struck the Mikey's thing off the agenda.
Really?
Yes, I tried to call you earlier in the afternoon to give you a heads up. You weren't available. I called Tim so he could pull it from the agenda.